Day 46. I'm reading Reader Come Home by Marian Wolf, page 172. The role of print. In the first school years, physical books and print would be used as a principal medium for learning to read and would dominate story time. That was the lesson in Letter 6. Reading in print by parent and child reinforces core temporal and spatial dimension in reading as important tactile association in young reading circuit and provides the best possible social and emotional interaction. Whenever possible, a teacher or parent would ask questions that lead children to connect their own background knowledge to what they read, that elicit their empathy for another's perspective, that prompt them to make inferences and begin to express their own analyses, reflections, and insights. Learning the importance of allocating time to their nascent reflective processes is anything but simple for children raised in a culture filled with distractions. As Howard Gardner and Margaret Weigel noted, guiding this peripatetic mind may be the primary challenge of educators in the digital era. The explicit encouragement of the earliest deep reading skills in young readers would be an antidote to the continuous temptations of digital culture to skim quickly and move on to the next interesting thing, to be passive and conceptualizing reading as one more game that entertains and is over, to skip figuring out their own thoughts. As one student opined, books slow me down and make me think, and the internet speeds me up. Each would have its place. Moreover, children would learn what is best for different learning tasks. For example, during the initial introduction to print reading, we want children to learn that reading takes time and gives back thoughts that continue long after a story is finished. Just as children's natural tendency to dart from one thought to the next may be exaggerated by frequent digital viewing, the experience of deep reading can help give them an alternative mode for their thoughts. Our challenge as a society is to give digital children both these kinds of experiences. They will need concerted efforts by their teachers and parents to be sure they read fast enough to allocate attention to deep reading skills and slowly enough to form and deploy them. Through this 5 to 10 year period, the goal is to instill in children the expectation that if they take their time, they will have their own ideas. All children, particularly children who feel insecure due to having to learn to read, gain something in the process of this kind of thinking that sets the stage for the rest of their lives. They learn to expect something important of themselves when they think reflectively about what they have read. Another stratagem for helping children think while they learn to read may surprise you. Learning to write by hand encourages him to explore their own thoughts and closer to a snail's pace than a hare's, particularly if their spelling still veers into the genes beneath at work variety. There is a growing body of research on handwriting that demonstrates that when children learn to write their thoughts by hand in the early grades, they become better writers and thinkers. From a cognitive neuroscience perspective, the beneficial cortical connections between language and motor networks are something Chinese scribes and teachers have known for centuries, teaching digital wisdom. At the same time that children are learning to think and to read in the slow medium of print, they will also be learning to think in a different way on fast-moving screens. Digital devices would be introduced as a medium for coding and programming, and what the top technology researcher Marina Burrs calls the playground for learning a stunning variety of creative digital-based skills, from masking graphic art and programming Lego robots to creating GarageBand compositions. Any one medium would not be given a preferential place in the classroom. In the process of learning to code, young children develop the deductive, inductive, and analogical thinking that are used in all STEM learning, and that simultaneously make up the core scientific method processes in the reading circuit. They begin to understand, for example, that sequence matters, the main weakness exposed in a digital reading by Anne Mengen's research. The importance of sequencing and other STEM processes is emphasized in the introduction to Scratch, the coding program for young children designed by the director of the Lifelong Kindergarten Group at the MIT Media Lab, technology experts Mitchell Resnick and Marina Burrs. In one of the single best description of coding, they wrote, "Every child should given the opportunity to learn how to code. Coding is often seen as difficult or exclusive, but we see it as a new type of literacy, a skill that should be accessible for everyone. Coding helps learners to organize their thinking and express their ideas, just as writing does. As young children code, they learn how to create and express themselves with a computer rather than just interacting with software created by others. Children learn to think sequentially, explore causes and effect, and develop design and problem-solving skills. At the same time, they aren't just learning to code, they are coding to learn." I guess that's pretty much more than 8 minutes, so I should stop here. Thanks so much. Please correct me if you can. Thanks.